Hi, everyone. Welcome to the last chunk of the grad student wellness presentation. So again, my name is Dakota. If you haven't turned into the first two chunks, I highly recommend you do so, since this is sort of the resource allocation part of the presentation as well as closing thoughts. So as I mentioned at the beginning, there are plenty of resources for grad students on campus, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what some of those are. So the Counseling Center, the UHC is, or sorry, the UCC is also for your use, right? So if you have GE insurance, it will cover counseling services. So know that that's there for you to use. And I had also mentioned earlier that one unique relationship grad students have is their relationship with their advisor. And that can prove to be a really challenging and difficult relationship for some people. And if it is, and you're finding it hard to maintain, or there is some problem that you can't foresee being solved without outside help, just know that the Student Conflict Resolution Center, the SCRC, it's kind of over by Kalapuya, Ilahi, over in that area of campus. That's also for your use. So you can feel free to check out their website, but essentially what they can do is they can help mediate some of that communication if there are things that aren't going well for you. Another resource that's really good that I would say is a very popular resource in the duck nest is our nap room. So again, typically we would be open, and in that space, what you could do is you can rent out that room for 1 hour at a time. We have a very cozy blanket and some pillows back there. And we have a nice couch that doesn't have those ridges that kind of go up. It's pretty flat. So you are always more than welcome if you feel like you need to um, have your own separate private room to yourself and just turn the lights off and take a nap. That is always an option for you. And lastly, social connectedness and just reaching out, right? Like it might not look the same when you reach out to your family, like when you reach out to your friends, but if you're struggling, it's really important to reach out to who you feel comfortable to, and know that the duck nest, while we don't have a physical space right now, we're still here for you. So if you need someone to talk to, if you would like to help get help finding those resources and accessing those resources, that is exactly what we're here for. So you always have us as well. And some closing thoughts. So there are so many ways to practice well-being and self-care, and you have to make sure what you're doing works for you, right? So all of these things, all the tips and tools I've gone over are great, and I would be remiss if I did not mention how important sleep is to your well-being and to your self-care. So again, everyone has a different like normal of what their body needs and what their body craves to feel well rested. And even if you aren't getting the recommended 8 hours, you should be trying to get as much as possible. So for example, I work and go to school, and I find that sometimes I'm getting kind of close to my limit, which is 10 p.m. And for myself, I know my quality of work will start slipping if I work past 10 p.m. Nothing good happens. So I cut myself off, and I will try and wake up a little earlier in the morning to finish it. And I know sometimes that's unrealistic, and sometimes you have to keep working, and that's okay. Just make sure that you're still getting as much sleep as you possibly can. I think that will greatly help improve your mood, your mental focus, and your general well-being. Sleep is really, really important. And another thing I talked a little bit about was that you can recruit some of your colleagues, office mates, coworkers, whatever, to do some of these wellness exercises at your desk or in your office. It can be really helpful in spreading a culture of wellness and awareness. And just remember that you got to focus on you, right? You got to put yourself first. Make sure that you are concentrating on your feelings and well-being while you're in grad school. We all come from different backgrounds, and as we all do, as you do as well. And the act of comparison can get really, really tricky. So it's really important to remember that while you may be practicing your wellness, it might look a little different for someone else. But just focus on you, do your thing. And lastly, I mentioned it just at the end of the last slide, but social connectedness is really, really important, since feelings of isolation might start to creep in. especially given our current situation. So remember, you are a grad student, but you are a person first. You are a person who goes to grad school. You are not just a grad student. So remember that some social connectedness that you can find might be with your cohort, right? Right now it might look a little different, but if you all find a recipe and can hop on a Zoom meeting and make that recipe together, if you're not able to get dinner with your cohort, that might be a fun way to stay connected. You can have coffee or tea breaks via FaceTime. So even if it's just 5-10 minutes, that's still a way to stay connected and just check in with people. The same can be said for like 5-minute phone, either texting back and forth or phone calls with family and friends. And remember, reach out when you need it, right? That's the most important thing. And lastly, I just, again, want to welcome you all to the Duck Nest. We know that you're an underrepresented population in our space. I would like to see that change. I know it's a little different. We have a very small space if you haven't seen us. We're located in the EMU, kind of in the corner by Falling Sky. But know that like all the things we have, the aromatherapy we have, the services we provide, the nap room, the tea that we have, that's all for you as well. So I just want to extend that invitation to you all. And I hope that once we do open back up, that we will see you soon. Take care.